everybody. Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we're glad to have you. Hi everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby. Today on the layout I've run into a little problem putting lights in existing buildings that I have, because I never thought I would put lights in a lot of these buildings, if any. So what that means is I haven't painted the inside of any of these buildings black to keep the light from shining through the plastic on the structure, and that's not a good thing. I suppose I could dim the lights way down in some cases, but the building I'm doing today is a large industrial building, and let me show it to you, and I'll explain what I'm going to do. Okay, some of you may recognize this building. It's my what will be my auto parts building. I forget which Walters building it is. It doesn't really matter, but I've already mounted it on. It's already constructed. It's already mounted on a base. I've got people already on it. I've got stuff happening on the dock and all that. So I really don't want to tear this thing apart to be able to put lights in it. So my answer to that, without the light shining through, let me get a hold of it here, without shining through the walls of the building, is right here by this door. I'm going to put an outside lamp. I'm going to put a stick-on light up underneath here, and I'm going to put a stick-on lamp up underneath here, and I'm going to put a stick-on lamp up underneath there, so that it will be highly not visible. The light itself, the LED will not be visible, but it will give the outside of the structure light, and then I'm hoping that that reflected light goes in through the openings in the building and somewhat illuminates the inside. That's the game plan. We'll see how it turns out, and I'll show you how I'm doing it. Okay, what we're going to be installing under there today is the LED stick-on lights, 5740 warm whites, simply because I think that gives them a little more faded look, or what should I say, not as blue as some of them. And let me show you what we're going to do first. Okay, what I did is I got my handy dandy drill bit set. You may or may not have one, but all you need is some kind of a small drill bit, and because I'm retrofitting this, I need to chuck this as far out as I possibly can. You could also do it by hand, of course, with a pin vise or something of that nature, but I just prefer my trusty old Milwaukee drill. I'm going to try and do it with this. I may have to go in and get something different for this section. I'm not sure, but this is where I'm going to start. Okay, after a little meandering of my drill bit, I did get a hole drilled in here up through the ceiling, and I'll show you where I stick the light later. Here I drilled a hole slightly offset to one side of the doorway, and under there another one offset to the doorway, and on the far side I drilled another hole where the little outside lamp is going to go. So now I'll show you what I do when I mount them. Okay, the first thing I did was to get out the 3 LEDs I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut the wires right about here, because what I'm going to do is twist all 3 of these wires together and just run them on one wire out to the just plug system. I don't know, I get asked this question all the time, but I don't know the answer. I don't know how many LEDs you can plug into one plug, but you do have a dimmer on the hub, so if you can turn the dimmer way up and maybe run 4 or 5, I don't know how many. If it starts getting too dim, then just remove a couple and put them on their own plug. That's all I can say about it. I don't know what else to tell you, but I did find that the wall lights don't seem to. I tried plugging everything into one plug, including the wall lights, and I couldn't get anything to work. I don't know if it was me or what. So we're going to put the wall light on its own plug. We're going to put these 3 on their own plug. So let me show you how this turns out once I get them in the building. Okay, I've cut them off to length. I've also stripped the ends so that I don't have to fight that once I get them in the building and mounted. So now the idea is to just take the 2 wires and put them through the hole and adhere the light to the underside of the canopies. Okay, here's why I offset them. There's the one stuck up underneath there. There's one stuck up under there. I didn't offset it quite enough. And the same thing with the one over here. I didn't quite offset it enough. But you get the idea. And of course, once you're down at any kind of level, I mean, you'd have to be below eye level to actually physically see the light fixture. Not so much in this one right here, but still it's going to be fairly invisible. I don't think it'll be noticed. But anyway, I'm going to get the wall mount lighted and I'll show you where we're going to go from here. Okay, on this little wall light right here, you can see how long the cord is. I don't know really, I'd say it's at least 3 feet, maybe even approaching 4, I don't know. But I would leave it all on there. And I'll tell you why. Because you can actually connect this light along with other lights into this plug so that you only take one plug in a hub, just as I'm going to join the other type inside the structure. You can join these under the structure. You could join this little outside lamp with a couple, 2 or 3 light lamp posts, and that's kind of what I intend on doing. So I'm going to leave the full length on here so I can get where I need to go. Okay, so there's my outside light mounted, and there is the wire. We're going to leave it that long. Now, the next thing is to twist all 3 of these LEDs together and get them connected to one cable. And let me do that. Okay, here's what I have once I've twisted my my plug wire here onto the 3 LEDs. You can see that all I did was twist them. I didn't really have to solder anything. This is just another tip. Instead of trying to insulate those, just put a dab of super glue on something, whether it be the inside of the building or one of these struts or anything on the inside of the building, just to hold those 2 connections apart so they don't touch each other. They're not, this black one is totally glued down. It's not going anywhere. So there's no way those 2 are going to come in contact with each other. Another tip is, wherever you plan on drilling your hole, which I'll just drill mine over in here somewhere to come down through the layout, just go ahead and put a dab of super glue on your wires here just to hold them in place, so that when I take these and drop them down through, they're in the same place if you have multiple wires coming down. And as you can see, there's little interior structures built inside this, or were built inside of this this building here. So I don't know what kind of light we're going to get inside the building, if any, but we're going to go stick it on the layout and see what we got. Okay, after temporarily setting the building in place, I've determined that the hole needs to be right there for the lights to go down through. And checking underneath, I have a splice plate there, so I'm going to have to drill down through the homosode and down through the splice plate. And it takes a drill bit that's about 1/4 of an inch. I think that's about 1/4 to get the plug down through. It just needs to be big enough to get that plug down through, and I think that's about 1/4. So let's drill holes. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go over this again. I just drilled the hole in the layout. I'm going to use the trusty shop vac, and I've said it before, but I don't pay attention to my own words. I was using it over there somewhere the other day, and drilled a hole through the board and went to vacuum up the crumbs. And now one of my automobiles is living inside my shop vac. I've searched for it in the bag and I can't find it. I don't have another new bag to put in the shop vac. So I'll just wait and use it for a while, and hopefully when I take this bag out, I'll remember to try and retrieve him out of there. But anyway, we're going to vacuum up the mess and set this building in place. Okay, gang, I got the building put in place. And as you can see, I've got the outside light on, and I know in this video the camera is compensating and it looks very, very bright. But if I don't know if I back up here, that doesn't make much difference. But anyway, it looks real bright because that's the only light that the camera is trying to take photographs on. But in real life, it's more of a yellowish tone, and I think it looks real good. We're not getting any light into the structure, but that's okay with me. I don't really care. At nighttime there would probably be only a crew working outside anyway, nobody in the office. And by the way, I did this building the exact same way. I stuck a sticky light up under there. And as you notice here, I have also put a few street lights in around T. Leary Chemical. I think that that's probably going to be the extent of lights at T. Leary. But I am going to put some street lights along. Ooh, you can't even see it. Hang on a minute. Let me turn the light on. Give this thing a minute to settle down. I am going to put some street lights along this street going back to the auto parts place. When I get the road and everything all done there, I will put some street lights out. And you can see that the lights are really not that bright when the lights in the room are on. It's really more of a kind of a dull glow. Like I say, taking pictures of them with the lights off in the room doesn't really do it any kind of justice. But anyway, that's probably it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this little retrofit of that building and the lighting. And I'll see if I can kind of update everybody on an ACT update when I get all these street lights put in and get something back there. Okay guys, I'm underneath the layout here, and I don't want anybody laughing at all this crap. I guess you can. But anyway, I have an expansion hub here, which I have a transformer plugged into. I have two other hubs plugged into that. I have this one here, which is working all of the lights on the engine facility at the moment. And I just hooked up this hub to the three lights that are on the auto parts factory. They're all hooked to this cable. This cable goes over to the expansion hub. And I was going to show you this. I have 3 street lights and that outside light on the auto parts store connected to this one little plug, and they are plenty bright. So I don't know how many street lights and how many small lights you could hook to this, but a tremendous amount of them, I'm sure, if you just plan it right and you leave your wires long. These wires will all eventually be rolled up and organized and attached up underneath the layout. You can see that they are so hair fine that in the interim you have to be very careful about not tearing them. But anyway, that's how simple it was to hook up. Okay everybody, hope you enjoyed that video on the retrofit of the lighting into the auto parts store. And as usual, thanks for watching.